Oh, a little bitty
Wait,
question.
dev kit or what? Did I miss some dev kits?
No, you saw nothing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of
Pixel slaves.
Slaves.
We are slaves for pixels, obviously. And today I'm in a very modern headset, but more importantly, we have an amazing guest today. The creator, the guy. I'm sorry.
The guy.
The guy of Virtual Desktop, Guy. Thank you for coming and welcome to our show. It's really pleasure. And thank you for agreeing to come on and just have fun, XR fun with us. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so smitten. I really am. You're a legend. Yeah. That's all I got.
Shut up. Drink
it's a
some
very
water.
niche industry, so
Yeah,
I might be known a little bit in the VR space, but outside of that, I'm a nobody, right? So
we all use your product, and perhaps in the future, even more people will use your product. Hopefully,
I'm a nobody in VR and also out of VR. If that helps.
But you're a pixel slave. That's important.
I am a slave to these little things put on our heads. Oh, they're addictive.
Yeah. Look, I've Guy, thanks for coming again. And I guess, guys, we first of all, we always go without a script. Second of all, it's an amazing week or month because Vision Pro and feels like the new chapter is starting. To me, at least, I've been here for a long time, and still it feels like the new chapter is starting. I've seen these things. By the way, this is not a bad thing. I love Gear VR. It's really great. But yeah, I mean, Guy, your journey with Virtual Desktop has been incredible. Maybe if I can ask you, how did you start? How did you come up with this idea? How did you get into VR XR space in general?
Well, it started about 10 years ago, like in March. So yeah, it'll be 10 years next month. I saw that Facebook had acquired Oculus, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I had heard of the Kickstarter and all that, but I didn't really pay attention to it. But when Facebook bought it, I was like, oh, maybe it's not a gimmick after all. Maybe it's actually a real thing. So I kind of had some spare time. I was working part-time back then. So I thought, okay, let me try to get a dev kit. So I ordered a DK2, but it took forever to arrive. So I found a DK1 on eBay, and I started programming against the Oculus SDK just for fun, like a evening weekend project. And then I shared what I had, which was just like the ability to see your monitor in VR with the first wired headsets. And people started using it and giving me suggestions, and so I kept improving it, and it kind of became popular on the Oculus forums itself. So that's when I decided to, spend a little more time and eventually release on Steam when the official headsets were announced in 2016. And then from there, 2017, I decided to switch to do that full time. So I moved out of the US back into Canada, and then I started working full time. And now I'm back in the US and I keep working on it. And I have, the Steam version, which is the old version, and I have the wireless one, which is on Quest and Pico and HTC. So.
And okay, there's so many questions I have. Sorry, I'm just trying to. How many people are you? You are alone, or you have some people who help you?
Well, I have a few that help me, contractors, if you will, for art, because I'm a terrible artist. So programming, yeah, programming, it's mostly me. I have another contractor who was one of the mods on Discord, who who wanted to help, and now he's working and helping program. So we're two programmers and essentially 2.5 people working on it right now.
That's insane.
Incredible. Well, and you had your road with Oculus was a bit bumpy. I remember the time when Meta, then when you wanted, if I remember it correctly, you wanted to release on their store, and then they kind of throttled you, and then they released their own link thing, right? Was it like this, or am I messing up things?
Yeah. So what happened is that I released on Go Gear VR in 2017, or I don't remember exactly the year. Anyway, so I had my app running on Go Gear VR, and it was the most popular app in the store. So it was doing very well. And then Quest was announced and about to come out. So I finished porting to Quest, and my app was ready. So and the most requested feature with my app on Go and Gear VR was, since you're connected to your PC, why can't I stream VR games? And I always tell them, no, it's just the desktop and all that. And then a lot of people pushed me to work on that. So I decided, let me try it out, see what I can do. So my app released with the Quest 1 at launch. It was there. And then I decided a few weeks after launch, because we were locked for a few weeks when the Quest launched. They didn't want us to update the app and break things right during the launch week. So I added the ability to stream VR games seamlessly. And I didn't announce it. I didn't tell anybody. I just said, let me put that in, see what people think. And so people discovered, if you just launch your games on Steam, your VR games, it just works. You jump in VR right away and it works. So lots of people were happy and excited to have finally that feature that they wanted. But then a week later, I received a call from Oculus, and they threatened me. They said, you have to remove that feature or we pull your app from the store.
I'm not trying to steal it. I'm trying to buy it for good money.
So I was like, okay, why? Everybody's asking for that, and people are happy to have that. And it doesn't change anything to the base application, which is to stream your computer, to your headset wirelessly. That doesn't change. It's still there. So it's just like an additional feature. Anyway, so they were pretty determined to pull my app. So
did they tell you why? Did they, or
they said, we received user complaints, and it's all bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
No, it makes people uncomfortable. Blah blah blah. I was like, come on. Like,
I mean, there was a user who complained. It was Mark Zuckerberg, but other than that, I don't think there was any other user who was complaining.
He beat me to it. He beat me to it.
Okay, and what happened next?
So I complied, because I just started full time like a year before. So
yeah, exactly.
This was my only income, so don't really have a choice. I have to comply. So what I did is that I removed the feature. Well, I left it there, but I disabled it. And then I made a patch available on SideQuest. So if you sideloaded that patch, it unlocked the feature so that people could stream VR games. So SideQuest was super awesome to, allow me to do that and help me through the whole thing. And so there was an issue, though, is that sideloading is not easy for the average user. And Quest is the headset which started to have a lot of non-techie people, right, use it. So asking people to go on a website, create an organization, and then enable developer mode and do some ADB stuff like this is not for the average person, right? So it was really a lot of work for me and for the people helping my community to explain to people how to sideload a patch, right?
Yeah.
So, and it remained that way until, the Oculus released Link a few months later, and then almost 2 years later they released AirLink. But just before they released AirLink, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can have your app on the store now." Because we're finished with ours, so go ahead, put it on.
I wonder why. Ladies and gentlemen, why I personally advocate for more open ecosystem, and I think we all agree with that, because big guys controlling their own stores eventually lead to some things like that. And I have to say, in my opinion, first of all, what they did is dirty game, and they did it not only to you, by the way, right? There were examples of fitness apps and things like this. This went on and on and on and on, and people were complaining and stuff, which I think it's like, just either be completely forefront and say, look, we have our own app, your app is out, sorry. Like, even that would be better than just saying like, this feature makes people dizzy and I don't know, and it's not, like, it just be open about your stuff. It's your business, it's your store. On one hand, I agree, if company builds a store and they own the store and they build an ecosystem and they invest billions of dollars, they have the right to charge you what they want, and they have the right to have their own rules. Like, it's fine, it is, but be please upfront about those rules, okay? Just say what is possible, what is not. And if you decide to build the same feature, then say, look, you're out of luck. We decided to build our own product, and let people judge, let users judge if they think it's okay or not. But doing these things like this is to me kind of crazy. And I remember that, like, when you were writing on Twitter, I think you brought it up to Twitter, and there was a big discussion, and I think everybody chimed in, and wow, okay, so that's amazing. I mean, of course, we all use your product. Even though I have to say I'm a PCVR guy. I like tethered connection, not because I like tethers, but I like the quality, which obviously can push through the tether. But right. Of course, I use virtual.
You don't have video compression when you use the cable. So when you use HDMI or DisplayPort cable, because Oculus Stick is still USB, and
correct. Where do you see this? What's the current limit in terms of? Because compression can do a lot. There's like almost lossless compression, because there's some things where you just cannot see the difference, or human eye cannot distinguish almost between. I mean, in some games, yes, of course, but in general, you can distinguish between whether you are streaming or you are tethered. It's like people discussing, can you really see the difference between VR and 90 hertz and 120 hertz? Can you really see that difference? Maybe somewhere you can, but most of the time you cannot. Well, in my opinion, I mean, you have to have an eagle eye to see the difference. But where do you see the limit for the resolution right now to have a really good, close to lossless streaming in terms of the headsets? Because Quest is what, 2.1, 2.2K per eye? But where do you see that bandwidth limit with current Wi-Fi routers and things like that?
Okay. The limit right now is not really with the Wi-Fi bandwidth. The limit is with the decoder on the headset. So the decoder, like with H.264, you can crank it up pretty high. It can go 600, 700 megabit, and it handles it fine. But it's only H.264, so you got a lot of banding, and it's 1 bit rate, and it's not divided in areas in the image. So it's kind of a dumb way to compress. HEVC and AV1. They have, they decompose the image in different blocks, right? So it's a little better at compressing hard to compress areas. But the issue is that the decoder is limited in terms of bandwidth. Right now, I'm pushing around 200, and that kind of hits the limit of the decoder. If you push higher, then the latency of the decoder increases. So we're really limited by the chipset right now. If you go like H.264 Plus, which is just a way to unlock the limit, you can go to 500 right now on Quest 3, and that works pretty well. So simmers, people who have fast-moving games tend to use H.264 at the high bit rates. But for general games like Half-Life Alyx or like darker games, then the other codecs are better.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's always a trade-off. Because if you have a very high resolution headset, right? If you're hitting up, let's say like Vario or Somnium, you're hitting, or Pimax, you're hitting like 2.9K per eye resolution.
Oh, that's totally fine. The resolution's not the limit. Yeah.
No. All right.
Oh, okay. You can encode like right now, or godlike resolution is 3.1K per eye, right? So. Okay. And that's like 1.5 times the horizontal resolution of the headsets. And the encoder has no trouble at all to encode 2 eyes. And so.
No, it works beautifully. That's what I use.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it's. Do you see like, how do you see, before we float into Apple heaven? How do you see the future of like VR in general? Because you have standalones like Quest and Pico, even though who knows what happens with Pico, but let's say you have Quests, you have Picos, and then you have PCVR headsets, obviously, which are targeted at PCVR and lighthouses and all of this stuff. What in Europe, and then you have Apple, of course. In your opinion, where do you see Meta and general headsets going in the next 2 years? What do you think will happen?
Well, Meta's probably going to try to copy stuff from Apple. And claim that they're the cheap version of Yeah, yeah, they're going to be the cheap version that lets you play games. I mean, the advantage they have, Meta has, is because is essentially is that it's a gaming console, and Apple like kind of tossed away games. I mean, it's really hard, at least because you don't have a controller, so it makes gaming a lot harder. So Meta has that advantage. I have a feeling that they're going to push in that direction, that they're a gaming or a fitness even headset. Those
But have
that
they
work that
actually
works
done
well.
a good job in introducing new games in the past 2 years? I honestly have to say, not really.
No,
They
the
have
store is a
completely
mess.
yes,
It's
yes.
awful. Like
Ah,
they
the
gatekeep the
reviews on
best
there.
games. And like how long has Gorilla Tag been in App Lab? Like 2 years. It's the most popular thing, and they weren't on the store forever. So they gatekeep everything. They just essentially, the store right now is a way for them to know what works and what doesn't, and then they'll copy it or they'll buy it. You know, that's why they bought 7-8 studios in the last year.
And laid off all the people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm joking, but
So they
actually they did
they,
lay off a lot of people
yeah.
in those studios and closed them.
So they want to see what works. That's what the store exists, so that they can implement it themselves or copy or buy the companies who are successful.
Because did I see, if you search for Virtual Desktop, did it just spit out random crap on the Quest
Well,
store? Or was that fixed now?
It depends who searches, because some people tell me that it works. For me, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work for me. It's just like Assassin's Creed.
I think it doesn't work exactly.
Why? That's not what I look for. I want Virtual Desktop. It's awful.
I mean, there's so many little things like that are broken on Meta's side. Like basic UI. Like, I don't know if you try to scroll in the Quest. Like it's impossible to scroll because as soon as your pointer goes outside the window, it just drags the thing outside. It's just awful. There's so many. They don't seem to be using the product at all.
But that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. I think, first of all, okay, now we're really floating into the Apple heaven. But I have to say, look, I'm a heavy VR user since forever. Okay, I cannot understand. Meta spends what, 3 billion per quarter on average, or 2 or 3 billion per quarter on average on reality labs, right? On VR, on whatever they do with VR. 3 billion per quarter. This is a lot of money. Where are the money going? I just don't get it, because you take the Quest, and by the way, yeah, right. But when I bought Quest 3, the first thing is the quality control issues they had were insanely bad. Dead pixels all over the place. People had to trying to blow up. The Elite straps didn't work and didn't charge the headset. Those, me or we who are doing our own headset, right? We're going through quality controls, factory, and all of this stuff. I cannot imagine even making the same mistakes as them. I have to say, because this is the first thing you kind of look in the factory and say, okay, this has to be correct. This is the 1, 2, 3 steps. We're making sure that there's no dead pixel. This is the extremely expensive machine we bought to make sure that there's no dead pixel. It's an automatic 60 megapixel camera, which can, detect freaking 40 different aspects of the screen. And it just flips through the screens and frames and stuff. And it just gives you, like all this kind of stuff. It's all doable. And for the company like Meta not to do these things, to me, it's just mind-blowing stuff. I just don't understand it. And then Apple comes in and they say, oh, you have been here for a long time? Hold my beer 1 second. Yeah, let me show you how UI has to be done. Let me show you how the pass-through has to be done. Let me show you how the ecosystem has to be done and apps have to work. It's just, how is it even, like, Mark should be quite ashamed, to be honest, right now, because it's a gaming console, and yes, they had head start, but where's the money? Where's the head start? Because they are actually now catching up with Apple instead of being the lead, in my opinion. All those games which are in Quest Store, like, okay, but they have to innovate now. They have to reinvent themselves again, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they have a lot of issues on the OS side too, and they had a team, I think, that was working on their own OS, and they fired them like last year. And essentially they canceled the project. So
huge
it's
mistake.
kind of, I mean, they're using Android, which is great because there's a lot of tools around Android, but the issue is that there's so many limitations to that, and they don't have their own, they can't really build their own ecosystem.
The issue is Google, because the Google is working on their own glasses with Samsung. That's where the issue will kick in. Because what did Boss said about them not allowing Play Store on Quest? Google didn't want them to do it. Why Google didn't want them to do it? I think I have an answer. We'll find out maybe later this year or maybe in the beginning of the next year when they announce their own glasses with Samsung. I think that's why they don't want to, Meta to do it. In my opinion, I might be wrong, but to be honest, looks
or
like.
Maybe they disagreed on who gets the 30% cut, because it's all about the 30% cut, right? Everybody wants it.
Oh, let's not even go into this Epic versus Apple, because Epic makes me mad. I just when I see tweets from Tim Sweeney, sorry Tim if you're watching, thank you for watching, but not your fan. When he starts to complain on Twitter about, oh my god, Apple is taking 30%, it's so unfair, you have to fight for users. I'm like, bruh, you wanted to have your own deal with Apple before you sued them, and they declined you, rightfully so, and now you're complaining. Doesn't go that well.
Yeah, it's a strange strategy to go. Yeah, I mean, I kind of support the idea that those 30% fees are ridiculous, and an easy way would be to just cap it at 10 for every store, just put a limit, and that's it, problem solved. But
I kind of agree, but on the other hand, isn't it the commerce of the thing? Like, isn't it open market? Like so first of all, they had to build their phones, and then they had to build their ecosystem, and then they had to build all the things. Then they had support it. They had to hire all the people, and then when finally they made it, and by the way, I don't think they made it in a unfair competition. I think they made a great job in terms of Android and Apple. They made a great job with hardware, with everything. And now finally they made it. They're like, okay, let's start making money. And then someone comes in like Tim Sweeney. It's like, no, I want to earn less. Or I want you to earn less because I feel like 30% is too much. Who are you? Like, why would you decide? I also agree that 30% is too much.
Who are you?
But still, like, why would Tim Sweeney tell Apple how much they have to charge? I think it's either people love it and they accept it, or they don't and they move on to some other stores like Huawei or Xiaomi store or whatever they. There are some alternatives, small but still. There, in my opinion. I mean, I'm for decentralization. I like no gatekeepers at all. I'm blockchain guy. I want a little bit of anarchy and everything. I like this stuff, open source things. But in the end of the day, I kind of understand big corporations why they charge this stuff. It's a balance.
I agree.
It's a very difficult balance. But honestly, with the Vision Pro, as far as I see how good it is, like charge me 50%. I'm fine. Just keep it good. Make it.
No, don't give them ideas like that.
Okay. Don't cut it short. Don't cut it short.
No. I'm keeping that in. I'm going to amplify that.
He will clip it and put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out of context. Just for you.
Have you ordered the Vision Pro? What a stupid question, but I just want to ask it.
It's arriving
You're receiving it tomorrow, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Virtual Desktop on Vision Pro?
Yeah.
Well,
when?
Well, here's the thing. I use Microsoft tools. I develop in Visual Studio on Windows, and so if I want to keep using the same tech stack that I have, it means that Microsoft's going to need to add Vision OS support in their tools, which might take a while. So I'll see what I'm able to do, but I might be kind of blocked by on the tech stack.
By code.
Wait. Do you own Mac? Do you own Mac?
Yeah. I have a Mac M1, but I hate developing on Mac OS, and I'm not familiar with Xcode. I just hate it, and so I really don't want to be building another product on a different OS with different tools and different code base just to support another headset. Ideally, I'd be able to reuse what I have and kind of build on top of what I have so far. It's just that right now the tools aren't there for me to do this, so I'll see what works and what doesn't.
Do you think they would even allow you to do that?
To release? Yeah.
To release?
Right now they like I can build with I'm not sure if you're familiar with the tech stack with the Xamarin from Microsoft, right? You can build iOS, iPad apps already for Android, Windows, macOS. You can build apps for all the platforms with that. Right now, they don't support Vision OS, but I'm sure they will.
No, I just meant more from a strategic point of view. Would they allow you to release an app which will allow you to stream VR games into, you know what I mean? Into Vision Pro.
Technically, there are already apps that streams your desktop, that connect to your computer to stream your desktop. So for that part, sure, they will allow it. So what I will likely do is have that part working first and do the same as I did on Quest.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Sneak it in.
It's like I said,
like hidden in the menu, invisible menu, and you have to click and blink 2 times, and it will unlock it. And not even Apple will know it. It will be a hidden paywall secret in your Discord. Let's do that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure the whole desktop streaming part, I don't see any issues getting approved for that there. I mean, they have a high quality bar in general for the Apple Store, so it's a lot more difficult to get something in. But what I have now is pretty stable and it works very well on Quest, so I'm not too worried about that. It's just that it's going to take me a while because it's a completely different ecosystem.
Okay. Says Guy, and then receives headset tomorrow, and it's like, damn it, this is so good. Okay, I'm switching to Mac. I'm coding on Mac. I don't care. I'll do it tomorrow. I have to do it. That's okay. That's interesting. And so there's Steam Link as well. Steam Link entered the chat with their. It was a surprise for you to the release of that, or you knew that they will do it eventually?
No, it was kind of a surprise. I didn't expect that at all. I mean, it was kind of surprising to me why they would release on Quest, since there's already a Virtual Desktop and there's AirLink. Why would they come out with their solution? And my guess is that they want to do something similar on macOS. So not on macOS, as on the Vision OS. So having that done on Quest and then repeating the same thing there will be a stepping stone for them. So that's the idea I have. I'm not sure if they plan to support other like Pico or anything like that. Probably not, I guess. But
I think it's a beta test of their own headset. Personally,
Pico is kind of uncertain the future, what happens. I mean, I'm a big fan, or we're here big fans of Pico 4. It's an amazing headset, in my opinion, for incredible value for the money. Even today, I would say, still incredible value for the money. But somehow they had so many good ideas, and they did such a good job, and they dropped the ball right in the most important moment where they could have just nailed it and killed Quest 3. They just dropped the ball. And I don't understand why, because ByteDance has unlimited amount of money, basically. They just print money the same way, or maybe even more than Facebook. Why would they do it? What's their plan? I have no clue. But it's a very disappointing thing to me, kind of to see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, there's a lot of users on Pico. I can't really compare numbers, but usually it's about like a fourth of what I have on Quest, which is a lot.
It's a lot.
So considering they only sell in Europe and Asia, so there's a good number of users there. And it's unfortunate because there's kind of things that Quest 3 doesn't have. Like, it doesn't have any face tracking or eye tracking, which the Pico 4 Pro has, right? And it's not much more expensive. Yeah, there you go, you have it. And so having like a Quest 3 competitor, but you add eye tracking in there, just that it adds a lot of value.
I told them what a year ago. I said, make it black, put this as a standard, put more RAM, even keep the same processor. It doesn't freaking matter, honestly. Put just more RAM, faster memory inside. Okay, put maybe the second gen processor or whatever Quest 3 has. And then just release it as a pro version for, I don't know, same price as Quest 3. And release it everywhere. Nobody, or not so many people will buy Quest 3 because this would be superior. Even the ergonomics is just better. Everything about this headset is just better. The design and I think even the build quality, the ergonomics to me to wear it, I can wear this for hours, no problem at all. The lenses, Quest 3 has quite good lenses, but they could have improved them a bit. They could have improved for the Quest Pro. It's not that difficult. They can keep the shape. They could just make it, just make it a version 1.5 of the lenses, and it will be fine.
Agreed.
It will be totally fine. And they didn't do it. I don't know why. It's very unfortunate. Because that could have moved the market in the right direction for that. But yeah, I mean, coming back to Stimlink, I think to me it's a little puzzling because, of course, there's a lot of copium for people and having Descartes and new headset from Valve. The more they do things like Stimlink, I just don't believe that the next Valve headset would be a high-end PCVR headset. I don't see that coming. I cannot imagine they would go into that direction because they want to sell games. And if you want to sell games, you need to have an affordable headset or a console. And if they would do a console, they would probably do a standalone / PCVR something, which would be some kind of like PSVR 2 style headset where you could connect it, or maybe you can stream things. It feels like that's what I would expect from Valve to do. Like, it will be really good, but it will be affordable. It has to do some compromises, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Steam Deck was kind of a precursor to whatever they're working on. So to have like x86 processor integrated into the headset, run your Steam library, but I'm sure they're running into some like power issues, because if you have like an Android running and exchanging data from the two processors, like as sadly Bradley has shown, right? That's the plan. I'm guessing it's probably a heat and power issue to do all that within a headset.
I mean, look, we have in the beginning when we were starting to develop VR1, I don't know how much you know about it, but just from experience point of view, I wanted to do something like what Pimax Crystal did, right? But very early in the development, we kind of figure out that there's a lot of bottlenecks, and it doesn't make sense to try to do both things at once, like a very good PCVR headset and the standalone, because then you run into power issues. You cannot run the displays to their max brightness. You cannot do this. There's heating issue. There is weight. There is a lot of things which come into place. And we just said, let's be the best PCVR headset we can build. Let's give the PCVR users, because anyway, we were always like, okay, I want to do this both things, but to be honest, what I will be using it for, PCVR, because it's a very high resolution headset. I want to use it as a PCVR native. So I said, let's abandon it. And then we'd make but it's expensive decision, because we were kind of developing it in parallel. And then one part got completely cut off, and we just continued with the PCVR. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of underground things which people don't understand in terms of how and why and what goes into developing the main board, and how the power flows into the headset, what it needs to support, screens and things like that. It's a very complex part. And and I can see it on a Crystal. Like, Crystal is a very solid headset, or in some parts not. But they ran into the same issues, and I can see those issues when I take on the headset. I'm like, right, I can see the brightness is not there. Why would it be? I have my own guesses, but things like this, which are very complex. So that's why I believe they would do like one thing, and they would want to stream it. Go ahead.
There's one interesting thing with Steam Link, which I found out recently because I went to Nashville. Is my PC was left on here. It was turned on, and my laptop was 4,000 miles away. I could connect to my PC over Steam Link.
You can do that with Virtual Desktop too.
You can do it with Virtual Desktop.
I was just like, what? Yeah, I tried VR. Obviously, the latency is not going to be as good as locally, but like this, I can see this being the future, like a low-powered headset with cloud gaming. I don't know. It just, I was blown away that it actually worked in VR as well. Is it meant to work in VR?
I'm not allowed to do cloud streaming because, when they allowed me to be on the store, there was a little line at the bottom says you can't do cloud streaming because they're working on it, obviously. So, I mean, the thing is, I told them, like, people already use Shadow, so I have no way to know if it's a local or remote computer because it's a TCP/IP connection. Like, if I prevent a connection from a different subnet, it's going to block a lot of people that have weird setup in their homes or with 2 routers or whatever. So I can't really block like out of network connections. And so they said, okay, you can keep doing that, whatever. But essentially, I cannot promote my app and say that it does cloud streaming or whatever. So
I tried it randomly. It's like, no way. What? That's my PC at home. Okay.
No, we had a guy in Somnium Space. We were doing events, and he was often going with his laptop, streaming into his PC, and going to Somnium, and we're doing events like this. And honestly, the latency was not that bad. Like it was doable. Like sometimes you felt like he's just a bit off, but other than that, he said, "Look, it was okay." And one time he even did it on a hotspot on a mobile phone, and it actually worked. The only thing is, to me, that's where I'm a little bit confused, I would say, because my view on things might very differ from what generally will happen. Do we think that the cloud streaming of VR is the future? Just a question. Or compute has to happen on the headset or on the PC, and you have to be wired. What are your thoughts, guys?
Why not both? Is both doable?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Give the user the option. I think it's good to have options. Some people don't want to pay for a full PC and have to assemble it, or they don't want all the trouble that comes with having a PC. They just want to have something that works. You put the headset on and you stream PCVR games. That's kind of neat to have. So both, I'm sure. Like, every PC gamer wants to have their own PC, right? Because they can put their own hardware, they can tweak their settings, they can overclock stuff, and you have to give the user the ability to do whatever they want.
But let's take an Apple example, right? Because Apple right now, they made a Vision Pro and they put a whole laptop power into that thing, right? Because it's M2, which is incredibly powerful chip, and then R2 is another one for sensors. Do we think that Apple will create a different version which will stream something from Mac and will have no power? I don't think so, right? They will continue in this putting all the power into the headsets, just making it slimmer, better, and that's the future of Apple. Compute.
I'm surprised they didn't put a SIM card slot in it or something, or an eSIM 5G.
That's easy. They will probably include it in some version in the future.
That just makes sense to me. If you can walk around and you've got internet anywhere.
Eventually you'll get rid of iPhone. I think that's the plan, right? Eventually you will not probably carry your phone with you. You will just have that, and you will be walking around. But the question is, in my guess was they put the battery out of the headset and put it in the wire because they want you to get used to be tethered to something, and maybe that's the compute unit in the future. Maybe that's how they will see that. So that if you want to make super sleek, one version could be Vision Pro is for pros. You have full Mac power inside the headset. Another version could be, hey, lighter glasses, but the compute happens in the iPhone, and then you're tethered to it, maybe. Because that's how that's the reason why it's not a coincidence that they put battery outside of your of the headset. They could have done it in the back easily, and nobody would complain. Yeah. But somehow they decided to make a cable and the pocket, and they knew people will complain about it. And they still did it. So that gives me a little bit of hint of, hey, we need you to get used to wear something in the pocket and be tethered to something so that we can give you the sleek glasses in the future. Maybe
make it the norm before pushing it out, sort of thing. Yeah.
Correct. It's in today's article.
It's mostly a seated experience too.
Sorry?
Right. It's mostly a seated experience, like all their demos and all that. People are sitting. So I have a feeling they went with that approach because it reduces the weight, and it's already a heavy headset, right? So, and they want people to lay on their back and all that stuff. So, I mean, I understand why they do it, and I'm glad they did, because it's apart from was it Magic Leap that had a puck, right? So they're pretty much the only.
I think it's the right approach. It's Carmack was in Oculus. He was also advocating for that. He said this is the right approach, and he was never able to push that through into the Quest. Unfortunately, I do think it has more benefits than downsides. I mean, people somehow overrate tethers. Like if you have one tether from the headset, it's not that big deal. Like it's okay. You can get used to it very quickly. Your brain just adapts, and you don't think about it, Because when people say like, I want wireless VR every time, I said, right. And where do you do VR? Oh, it's in 2x2 room. at home. So where do you walk? You walk nowhere. So why would you? What's the point? Just
I do it outside. You're the reason why I play games outside, Guy. Smashing, using the pass-through mode and blade and sorcery, and nearly breaking my foot for kicking the wall. Thank you.
You're crazy, Shudder. Things you do, you're crazy. Good. But there are some other normal people, normies. They play VR. Normies, they play VR as well. I just opened Twitter. I just want to discuss what are the other news this week except Apple Vision Pro? Are there any XR news? Oh, Guy, what do you play on a regular basis? Do you use VR on a regular basis? What are your
what do you daily
games?
Drive?
What are your favorite experiences?
I don't really use VR. I just work all the time. So I don't play anything. I'm really bad. I should be experimenting and playing things, but I really don't. I and then sleep and repeat.
Okay, wait. You have wife, kids, and stuff, or you're single?
Wife, yes.
Okay.
She's okay. She's okay with my routine. So.
Okay. Okay, that's Shoda wrote me that he lost power. Power cut, he said. Oh wow. Okay, you see, that's the tethered experience. You're power, or you're out of power and you're out of luck. It's so, and I'm in the past, I before I started Somnium, I worked as an investment banker, so I've traded all kind of stocks and options and power and all the contracts, and actually did physical power. So I'm always kind of my financial brain. Of course, I don't want to grill you on numbers or something, but in terms of the sales and the revenues you're getting, I expect whenever there's a new headset like Quest 3, there's a spike of revenue for you.
Yes.
I would expect that.
Yeah.
And how do you see your business going forward? Because on one side there's competition coming in, like Steam Link and obviously Oculus, they're doing their own thing. Where do you see your business or company or brand going in the future? What else do you want to bring to the table?
I can't talk about future plans because people like to copy what I do, so I try to keep that private. But I just keep doing what I'm doing, just pushing updates to my app and supporting new headsets that come in. So far I'm doing okay since I switched to that full time. I'm able to do that, and I can keep working for years. So I keep my team small. So lots of people that in my shoes would probably go hire a bunch of other people and then expand and then try to get VC money and all that. But I really don't want to do that. I would just want to keep doing what I do, programming. And so I don't want to manage people either. That's not my thing. So.
Sorry, Shoda said full power off.
Oh wow.
But I said to him, join Zoom from the phone at least. Wait, let me send him the link. That is that's the first time. That's the first. But I can tell you that I kind of feel you, because on one hand, I agree. I think one of the toughest things is in business is managing people. I love people and I love the team we have, but there's constant things. Some people want this and that, and it's very difficult. And Somnium has 20-ish people in, so it's not that big, but it's also not that small. It's already a number. Yeah. And you need to manage plans, and of course you need to help the team and kind of talk to everyone. So that takes quite a bit of time. So but good for you that you can kind of finance your own thing development, and I think you're profitable. So you can actually do that, which is a very good place in life to be. We can consider ourselves lucky that this happens, because dealing with investors is difficult as well.
Yeah, it's easier to be profitable in the VR space when you're just a team of two or three, right? So because with there's downturns like every year. You think, well, this is it. The sales are going to drop and it's not going to sell anymore, and it's super stressful for a lot of people in the space, right? So, I want to be insulated from that. So that's why I'm not growing the team and hiring a bunch of people. That would be so stressful for me. Congrats to you for doing it. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, that's not something.
Look at me. Look at my hair,
stomach.
man. You know how I do it. That's the answer. Okay, that's the answer.
Okay.
I'm not that old. That's the point. No, I have to say, not only we had Somnium and we're working on Somnium constantly. No, we don't have so much users as VRChat and stuff, but I have passion and we're building it and we're making it better and better. But the decision to go into hardware was a passionate decision. I believe in that decision, but at the same time, it's hell. So that the hardware is very difficult. So of course that's
sure
we'll see how it works out in terms of sales and all the other parts which comes with the selling hardware. But that's why I applaud Apple for doing what they're doing the way they're doing, because one thing is to release a product, another thing is to release a product which is really good, and how they go so far. They didn't do any big fails during their release. They seem to be very prepared with Apple stores and tutorial videos, and the reviews, and the product itself looks very solid. So I just have to say, that what I would expect from Meta after all those years and all those billions of dollars, that's the product launches and the quality of products I would expect from them by now. And I just don't understand why it's not happening, because where are the money? Just natural question, like, where did the money go? Where are all
probably
those
have a fire
people?
pit somewhere and they're burning it. I don't know.
I don't, man, can you imagine burning so much money? You would have to work 24/7 just like burning those dollars in, because that's a lot of billions per quarter. Wait, Shoda, are you with us? We don't hear you, sir. Wait, we do not hear you. Just typing him in. But yes, and apart from work, do you play any games? Do you do what do you like to do? Any other hobbies?
I used to play lots of PC games, but the last one I played was Cyberpunk more than a year ago. So it's been a while since I played games. But yeah, I'm a PC gamer at heart. That's what I did for many years. I played World of Warcraft for 8 years. It was like a second job.
Oh wow.
And I play RTS. I play lots of strategy games, that kind of stuff. That was my thing.
Which ones did you play?
StarCraft a little bit, Warcraft as well.
Age of Empires?
Back in the day, yes.
Can you imagine? I have kids that's 7 and 10, and I've never imagined that I'd be playing with my kids Age of Empires against them. And we're at the point.
Wow.
So until recently, we always play a little bit on the weekend, so we don't want them to spend much time. But on the weekend, we just take 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then they sit together on one PC and I'm on a laptop, and we play Age of Empires. And until last weekend, I was beating them every time. And last weekend, we came to a point where it was a tie. I was not able to finish them, and they were not able to beat me. But I was like, wow, guys, you progressed, because that's the first time I was legitimately trying to really, conquer them. And they just built all those castles and stuff, and they were protecting themselves really well, to a point where I was like, wow, guys, I cannot beat you. Okay, you cannot conquer me, but at least I cannot beat you anymore. You're protecting yourself very well. That I honestly didn't expect to happen in my life. Kind of was a little bit of a, my wife is always
How old are they?
What exactly? She's like, what is this? Like Age of Empires, like useless stuff, like games. Okay. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. It's amazing. I was mesmerized. Hello, Shoda. Hello, we cannot hear you. Okay. Hello.
I'm using a power bank and a little LED light. Okay,
Where are you?
this benefit
Wow.
of a removable battery.
What happened? The power off? The power went off?
Yeah, my entire street. There's people outside talking to one another. That's weird. It's all down.
Wow.
I'm powerless.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, thank you for coming back. We were discussing, what Guy does in his free time, and he said sometimes he plays games, but not so much anymore. By the way, Cyberpunk, did you play a lot of the Cyberpunk, or just tried it for a few sessions, or you went through
Oh
it?
yeah, I completed the three different paths. I played
Oh,
for
wow.
like 4 days in a row. Didn't go out, didn't do anything else. I just played 4 days in a row and I went through it.
You have an amazing wife, I have to say. You have an amazing
Yeah,
wife.
she's very supportive. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But Cyberpunk, did you try Cyberpunk in VR?
A little bit the Blue Cross mod, yeah. It's pretty cool.
Looks stunning, yeah. Looks amazing in VR. I was a bit lagging
Yeah.
because I tried it in like VR1 and 2.9K per eye, and my computer was like
No, you need a
4090 was
beast just to
dying. I was
play
like,
it, yeah.
okay, calm down. I was trying to look around, and it was kind of okay.
Time for a
In some
second
scenes.
4090 to run with the screen. That's what you need.
Sorry?
It sounds like you need another 4090 just to run the other screen.
Yeah,
One
SLI
per eye,
mode.
yes.
SLI mode would be great, yeah. But unfortunately, there's no there's
No
no
longer
tech to
exists.
exactly. It's not possible. But yeah, I mean, StarCraft. I played StarCraft. Actually, my friends liked to play StarCraft. I was playing just because of them. My strategy in StarCraft. Okay, I'm telling you. How were humans called in StarCraft?
Terrans.
Terrans. For the Terrans, because they were always playing like all the other stuff, and I said, because we were in the computer clubs, right, and we were playing 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, and I said, guys, I'm the worst of you, but what I'll do is I'll help you to protect your. So I always started in my own base, right, and then I built the bunkers, and Terrans, you can lift off the buildings and fly away. So what I did always is I started to really collect all the resources. I built the bunkers and then just flew away to my friend's base. I stand there and I just helped him to protect his base while my base was just abandoned with bunkers. And it was a very big surprise for all the guys who came in to beat me. And then like there was no one. They were like, "Oh, where are you?" I'm like, "I don't know." And my friends were always, they
That's
didn't
good.
need to kind of like to deal with the protection of the base. They were always attacking, and I was always protecting. That was my thing. I was the protector of the base, just taking care of the security. I was kind of working well, actually, most of the time. So yeah, StarCraft was fun. Warcraft was always fun as well. I actually, because of Ultima Online, I played Ultima Online a lot. And it stretched for me from like 2000 or from 1999 to probably 2008 or even 9. So I played a lot Ultima Online, and I missed the World of Warcraft completely because of that. Because
Yeah.
Ultima
You missed
fulfilled me
WoW?
in terms of what?
You didn't play World of Warcraft?
I have never played World of Warcraft. I of
Wow.
course I know what it is. I watched some videos and stuff, but I have never ever owned that
You've never
game.
done time.
Tried it.
You
I
need to
played
do
a
your
lot of
time.
Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, and then switched to Ultima Online. Never looked back because it just completely, the real-time RPG persistent part of the Ultima Online and the economy just completely got me, fulfilled all my desires in terms of, the only thing I wanted is to be in VR in that, like to really live in that world. But the rest was really cool, and the graphics was whatever that was. My imagination kind of created all the worlds I needed to create. But that, yeah, I never played World of Warcraft. Never ever.
I have a insane playtime on one character on that game. I'm not going to tell you how many days it equates to, but it's a lot. It's a lot. It's very addictive. You'd love it. Don't play
Look,
it. Don't play
you
it.
cannot
Do
imagine
not
how many
play it.
days and years I spent in Ultima Online. Like it's a very addictive game because you have real people there, and like you build houses and guilds and all this stuff. I mean, I had my own guilds and markets.
You do play well,
So
then.
Sorry?
The guy used to play WoW. Have you played WoW before?
Me, yeah, I did. You weren't there when I played for 8 years. It was like a second job. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You arrive from work and then you log in and then you start collecting herbs and for your raid, and then you do your like 3-4 hour raid, and then it's like
You
1
used
in
to
the
get up
morning.
early
And
before work to play it.
oh no, not that.
That was me. That was my level of
Was your-
addiction. I was like, I gotta play, gotta
Wow.
go on the mountain ice forge and just run around for a bit. This is great. Oh, never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
My record, I remember, because I'm originally from Ukraine, right? And when Ultima Online came, the internet was like really bad then. And then suddenly there were companies who were doing like DSL lines. So you could have bought like a private line to your home. So that's what we did. And then you had to pay per hour of internet, right?
Okay.
Oh, yes, per hour. And then at some point they came with this unlimited package. And I said to my parents, like, can you buy me the unlimited package? And they said, fine. So they bought me an unlimited package. And right after they bought me an unlimited package, they had to leave for work for 1 month. Let me turn off the reactions. They had to leave for not 1 month, but like probably 1.5 weeks. Sorry. They had to leave, and I stayed alone. So it was me, summer holidays, unlimited package, and Ultima Online. So that turned into a 24/7 sessions. I probably have played it like 20 hours a day. I kid you not. And when they returned,
The sound of peeling yourself off the seat when you've done a 20-hour session on Ultima Online.
my provider, my internet provider, because I knew them, they were the guys with the servers in the room. When I went to pay for another month, I came in and they said, Artur, you're a legend, right? I said, why? He said, you broke the complete record of anyone being on internet with the traffic and pure time. You were connected to the internet by a mile. You hold the record right now. And they gave me the number. It was like an insane number. Basically, I said like almost 22 hours a day active on that. I was like, well, don't tell my parents. But other than that, it's all good. Yeah, it's just... Like the only thing I was away from is with my dog when I was going out with the dog for like half an hour, 40 minutes, 2 times per day. That's it. Like the rest was just Ultima Online.
Time to eat, go to the toilet, walk a dog, and then
exactly. And then straight back to Ultima Online and just playing it and playing it and playing it. That was And actually, Ultima Online was one of the reasons why I started Somnium Space, because when I first time tried VR, I said, "Oh my God. All these things will be, all those worlds, this will be huge. People will want to do it all the time. And, having worlds where you can build anything and having the economy aspect of it, having, all those other things, this will be the killer use case, like at least for me. So that's why I wanted Somnium to exist, because I wanted to use it. I wanted to have a world like this where it's big and huge and you can walk around and you can walk for miles and for hours and meet some people and see some buildings and things like so that's the reason. And Ultima Online was one of the reasons. And one day I even talked to Richard Garriott, who actually created Ultima Online, on the phone. That was amazing. If Richard is watching, hello Richard.
Very cool.
But was kind of I cannot believe I sent my friends a message with I said, guys, do you know who I talked with? And they were like, no. I said, the creator of Ultima Online. They were like, no way. Artur, how did you do that? They didn't believe me. But that was cool. All right, Shota, what other news have captured you this week from XR or non-XR part?
I've seen the new virtual desktop app, the update. You can do all, is it OSC capture and finger tracking and face tracking now for XR Open?
Yes. We're sending it to the PC. So all the tracking information, buddy tracking, head, face, on, blah, 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 everything that the Quest supports, we're sending it to the PC. Now it's up to games that use OpenXR to support it. But essentially, they are able to do it like native apps can do on Quest. Now they can do it with PCVR. I don't know if many games will support it, but we thought it might be a good idea to add it. Other people can also convert that to whatever skeletal input for SteamVR, or like it's all there, so anybody can do it.
Oh, I'll put some guys from Somnium team to have a look at that. We're OpenXR, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
So
you have all the information, and
oh, that's cool.
Are you using the upper body tracking as well? Is that being captured as well?
Yes, it's being sent. It's just that we didn't put it in our OpenXR runtime. Matt's OpenXR runtime VDXR. There's no instructions there for body tracking, but the information is on the PC side, so anybody could.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to like look through things which happened this week in XR industry, and honestly, the only thing which I can see is it's Apple Vision Pro. Thankfully, I mean, Apple, exactly. No, it's like Apple, and then people who say, "Wait a second, but Vision Pro cannot do anything that Quest 3 cannot do," and I'm like, "Oh no." Don't comment like this. Don't put this. Please.
Should tweet, yeah.
Yeah. Please don't do it to me.
Did he do it on purpose to annoy you, Artur? Or...
I mean, he does a lot of things to annoy me on purpose, but maybe he will not confirm nor deny what you just said.
I'll never steal that from you, Artur. Never.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just scrolling down through Twitter, and it's literally only Apple and
tomorrow.
I wouldn't get it tomorrow. I would get it probably Tuesday next week, because friend is getting it tomorrow, and then they will ship it priority to via FedEx to Czech Republic, but it will take probably like 2-3 days, and customs will stop it like for a day. I obviously will fill it in very quickly, but they will just put an X on this, and they will say, okay, you have to pay double the price. No, they won't deny it. I don't think they will deny it, but they will just put tax on it, and they will just make me cry even more. That's the problem. But I don't think they will. Do like,
I know in Canada they convert the price to Canadian, then they charge you the Canadian taxes on the value of the product. Is that the same thing in?
Yes. They basically no, they you can provide them the price in dollars, but they charge you in Czech crowns. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only problem is, of course, the amount is one thing, but also it delays the package. Why I like FedEx most of the time as one of the companies is that when you ship priority with FedEx, what they do is they deliver it to you first. So you fill in the paper and they immediately deliver it to you the same day. And then they deal by collecting money from you. Other companies, they want to pay you, they want you to pay first and do this, and then they deliver, which takes like 3 days. And FedEx says, no, here is your package, enjoy it. But then they come and say, here's your invoice.
You owe us $100 then.
Exactly. And you're like, oh no, why? But at least they deliver it to you fast. So I'm hoping to get it like on Tuesday or Wednesday, because I cannot wait.
What's the first thing you're doing it?
I think Persona, and I just want to. So my evil plan, I should tell it first here, exclusive, okay? So I'm a Windows
FaceTime your mom and scare her.
Oh no. My mom uses Android, so no chance. Okay. But what I will do is, because I'm a Windows person, I use Mac. So 1.5 years ago, roundabout, I forced myself to start using Mac, and I bought an iPhone because I knew that Vision Pro is coming. And I wanted to get ready because I wanted to be in an ecosystem to be able to fluently, use it when it comes out. It was a good decision. But I'm a Windows guy. I use Windows for work. Obviously, we're a PC game and things like that, so I'm used to Windows. At home, I have a PC with 4090, and then I have a laptop with a monitor where I use for mails and some Excels and some Office stuff. So that thing I would probably replace with Mac, and with Parallels, I will run Windows on Mac, which can run really cool. So you can run Mac and Windows next to each other as windowed applications. And my evil plan is I will use Windows on Mac and then through Vision Pro, I will control Windows on my Mac. So I will be able to use Windows with Vision Pro natively. I'll just have it as a mirrored screen, and then I have other apps around me, like Discord. I can use macOS or iPadOS things. So I'll choose iOS apps around, and then the main window will be Windows. That is my ultimate setup, and I think it will work perfectly because Parallels will work as screen mirroring. It's just a window. So that's it. That's my new setup. I'll just get rid of the Windows laptop and switch to Mac. And of course, 4090 PC will stay for VR. I mean, I want to play VR games in full bandwidth. So that's my use case. That's my killer app.
Right now. But I
What?
can't. I'd love to play some VR games tonight. I don't think it can happen.
The price of VR games or the price of?
No, I said I'd love to play some VR games tonight, but
no power.
No power. Low power. Who's playing? Are you playing Command and Conquer? Is that what's going on here? You hogging up all the resources?
I played a little bit of Command and Conquer in the past, but not much. I was not a big CNC game guy in the past. But what are you planning to do with Vision Pro? Is just testing it out and seeing like media and stuff? What's your?
Yeah. Well, my goal was to watch Netflix on it, but there's no Netflix app.
Yikes.
So I've been watching all the Netflix shows that I need to watch, and I kept the Apple TV and Amazon Prime one. I have a few seasons of stuff to watch, so I'll watch those at least on the Vision Pro and see how it is.
Okay. We should FaceTime when I get mine. We should do the Persona FaceTime thing because
scare each other. Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually doing a lot of business calls from Somnium. I just I do the virtual camera, and then I have my tablet in Somnium, and I hold it like a selfie, and I'm walking around and doing and people are dying. Like they're like recently I had sometimes like investors calls and stuff. And I just come from VR, and people for the first 5 minutes, people cannot even speak normally. They're like, what is going on here? Like, I don't know what? You're just walking inside a virtual world? How do you touch this? Why? You're driving the car. Wait a second. They completely lost. And of course, so those people who know me, they will be kind of used to see my persona. It will be a little bit different representation of me, but normally they see kind of like a lizard or whatever I am in Somnium at that moment. But calling from VR is the future. Like we actually implement a new feature in Somnium soon. It's where you'll be able to call from one user to another in VR, make a video call while you're inside Somnium, and maybe someone is inside the world and someone is outside, and you can just have a video call to each other. I'm looking forward to that feature because that's kind of interesting. Like you're calling a VR person from VR, talking to each other via video call and selfieing each other. So that could be a very...
mode. You do agree?
Yeah. One time I did an absolute. It's on YouTube somewhere. I had a Zoom call on a screen with 10 other people or maybe 6 other people. I don't remember. Like a lot of people were on the call. I was one of those people, but I joined from VR. So the Zoom was on the wall of my building on my parcel. And I was standing next to that Zoom call, beaming in to that Zoom call from that parcel. So I was seeing them.
Infinite recursion.
Kind of infinite thing. And I was talking to them on the wall while they saw me talking to them on the wall. And I was, it was even hard for me to grasp at some point because we were like, wait a second, how do I need to hold the camera so that they see me and I can see them? And it was so fun, honestly. It was just, they were always laughing. They were like, how is it? And then one guy actually from the call, he said, okay, I'm jumping into VR. And he came to me, and we both were from VR into the Zoom call, and other people who were on the Zoom call from normal webcams, they just died. Like first they were laughing, then they were like, "Oh my God, this is too much for me. It's too much to grasp at the same time to understand." So yeah, it's kind of the future, I think. I believe so. All right. Do we have any other topics, guys, to discuss? Anything else we want to talk before we finish this slavery of pixels part. What is your wish to future generations of VR and virtual desktop users? What do you want users from virtual like ideally what do you want users of virtual desktop use it for? Like what's your wish?
Oh, it's really up to them to use it for whatever they want. I just hope that it fulfills what they need. That's the whole goal. I don't like I built the app for me initially. Like I'm not sure if you're with Rick Rubin, which is a famous person who has no skills but knows what he wants and gives advice to other people to do it. So it's kind of the same strategy where I just built something for me, for something that I wanted to do, and essentially now I have the app that I want. And it's getting a little harder because people ask for things, and unless I really will use them, it's hard for me to develop them. Like lots of people have been asking for multi-monitor. I'm not a multi-monitor person. I work on one. I have just one screen.
Oh, you will love Vision Pro then.
Yeah. So I've been delaying. I'm finishing it up, and it's going to be released in the coming weeks. But yeah. So
nice.
So right now I'm trying to do all those other things that I've pushed back, all those feature requests that people have had. But yeah, so in terms of future plans, I can't talk too much about what I'm working on, but hopefully it will be.
Give us some meat. Give us some meat. We need one secret. One meaty secret. Come on. Nothing.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Goodness. Do you release how many people use virtual desktop on a daily basis, something like that, like roughly or whatever? Just an interesting.
Well, Meta released my
yes
in an email. So
multi-Meta.
Well, it was monthly users. It was something like 270K, I think. But daily, it's about 50,000, I think.
It's very respectable. It's amazing.
I'm one of those.
Me too.
I'm on it.
Me too.
Thank you.
I mean, I have to be honest. When I use Pico, because I use virtual desktop on Pico, I don't like Quest 3 just ergonomically. But for me, when I use Pico, I use virtual desktop to just beam into Somnium sometimes. But most of the time, I'm tethered. I'm the PC guy. I'm just turning on my PC, just one cable, and I'm all into to the holy grail.
I use it for my exercise routine, which is Blade and Sorcery in the garden. It's amazing with the pass-through mode on. It's so good.
So do you use the chroma key feature? And
so I've made a green world. There's chroma keyed green out, and I can just fight people in my garden. And as a British person, we love fighting. That's amazing. Thank you.
Actually, that idea of chroma keying was one of them on Discord today. Wouldn't it be great if we could mix pass-through and all that? And so yeah, sure. You went and implemented it.
No end of times. It's amazing. Good,
I mean,
good
that's the future, right? I mean, or one of the big parts of the future. Mixed reality, it's there and it's gonna stay and it's gonna be more and more popular. So for sure, that's
all my friends in VR chat who have a Quest 3 and use virtual desktop. We don't bother going into a world now. We always hang out in just a green box, so we can all sit in each other's rooms. And it sounds very weird saying that, but it works really well. You should try a virtual desktop out, Guy. You should play some games on it. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's great app. I agree. It's a great app. You will love it. It's the guy who made it, amazing guy. No,
write that down.
By the way, one question I wanted to ask you, because you said have you worked with do you do, like, I don't want to sound like, do you do contracting work with some manufacturers or whatever, if they would say like, hey, we would love to have your app maybe like natively built in our thing, can you do it for us or with us or whatever? No. You don't want to do that at all?
No, I just don't have time. I'm full-time on this, so it's not really worth my time to because with customers like that, there's always something and they want something more. And I remember in the early days I was helping a guy who he was using my app on Steam the video playback, and he kind of made some moving seats and whatnot. And so he had a bunch of very, very specific requests for the video player. And so I was probably too nice, and I kind of went and implemented all the little things that he wanted. But then it never stopped. Like he wanted more, he wanted more. At this point, I just said, I really can't, because this is for one person, right? So
I mean, one of the toughest things in Somnus Space is not building Somnus Space, is running the community across all the years. It is very difficult, and I'm always engaged in there, so I'm always with the community. I'm never kind of trying to push them away, because I'm passionate about Somnium and all these things we do. I'm a VR user, but sometimes it's just people, different opinions, and sometimes people just do stupid things and they hurt you. Like they just don't care, and they just whatever, and they say something, and I take it kind of personally because I really care about what people think and how they use the app and stuff. But that's one of the toughest parts of the whole part, like communities
prioritizing what.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's great and tough at the same time, and it's kind of it's a blessing, it's a curse, and how. Okay, last question, and then we let you float into the virtual desktop world. How does your workday look like classic workday? Like you come in the office. First of all, you work from the office. You don't work from home, right? You come into the office.
I work from home. No,
from home. So it's just okay. Yep. So how does the classical work day of Guy, the virtual desktop Guy, looks like?
Okay. Well, I wake up pretty early, usually 5:36.
Wow.
I check if anything's
Wait,
on
one
fire.
second. Can we stop at that moment? Sorry. Like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I'm old. So I go to bed like at 9, and I wake up at 5:30.
Wait, may I ask how old are you, just to know if I'm old or not?
42.
Oh shit, I'm old as well. Oh my god. Okay. Oh no. Okay, now I know I'm old as well officially. Thank you. Okay. You wake up at 5. Jesus Christ. What happens next?
Between 5 and 6. Yeah, and I check is anything on fire, right? Because since I'm the last person, that's what I have to check. Is anything on fire? Everything's working okay. Check a few messages, emails while I'm in bed. I do that while I'm in bed because it takes a little while to get up. And then I eat breakfast and do a bit of support on Discord. Then I walk down to my office, and then I work from say 7 to 12 or 1, eat lunch, and then go back to work. And it depends. Sometimes I'll stop work around 4. Sometimes I'll work until 11. It depends. If I'm working on something that's motivating, then I just work 16 hours a day. Yeah.
Could you give us an example of what's like the last thing you worked on which was super motivating? One of the which kept you kind of. And ideally unreleased stuff, but of course you can talk about released stuff as well.
He's digging.
So how we have now we're sending all the tracking information from the headset to the PC. That kind of increased the amount of data we send. So it went from like 5 megabits to 10 megabits. So it kind of doubled the amount of data that we send. And so I was a bit scared that this, for people who are on shitty setups, and there's a lot of people on shitty setups, it would bring everything to a crawl, or they have more lag than usual. So I work on finding the best way to compress that data without adding too much overhead, too much latency. So I tested like all the possible ways to compress data and ended up choosing on an implementation. So yeah, and that took me like 2 days of work to try them all and see what works best.
Wait, do you have all like different setups and routers at home to test with like shitty setups and stuff, or how do you test those things?
I have all the headsets next to me on my desk. They're prototypes. I can't show them, but I have all of them: Quest Pro, Quest 2, Pico 4, Quest 3, Quest 1.
And when you say prototypes, did they share with you those prototypes, or how did you get all of them?
Yeah, it's before they shipped to consumers. They just sent you a prototype, which is essentially almost the same thing as the shipped unit. And it's just because they have little stickers on them and all that. in theory not supposed to show them. So, but they're basically the same thing as the release product.
Yes, release
Anyway,
candidates,
so-
I think.
Yeah, so that's the last thing I worked on, and essentially what I was able to do is to cut in half the bandwidth, so I'm back to 5 megabit of data being sent.
Okay.
So it doesn't, like, you see an app like that, you don't think all the work that goes into making sure things work.
Oh no, I do. Other people,
you
but
do?
I
Okay.
know exactly what it takes to build something like this. So lots of
Yeah.
respect and lots of luck and patience for the future. I think that's for sure. Okay, one last question. I know. Is there any headset which is not released yet? You don't need to tell us which. Is there anything you're working on which is not released yet, but will be released in the future, and Virtual Desktop will be there? Like, is there something out there?
No, I don't have anything else. Any unreleased stuff. The Apple Vision Pro is the next thing I'll play with, really.
Okay. Here you go, guys and girls. VR enthusiasts. Here's the man who built your app and your future of untethered VR, because that's what you are using it for mainly. Yeah, I mean, Guy, thanks for coming. We're here every week discussing the news. Today was the Apple thing news, and I guess tomorrow will be the day. And I promised our viewers, I warned them, I said, look, there are 2 things I'll be talking about in the next half a year. I apologize. It will be Apple Vision Pro and Somnium VR1. I'm sorry. These are 2 things I will be raving here all the time and nothing else. So if someone doesn't want to hear that, they just switch this channel and never come back, or come back in a year or so. But until then, it's the thing. So again, thanks for coming. It was such a pleasure to meet you, and we'll FaceTime each other next week from Resonus.
Sure thing.
And until the next time, anytime you want to come back, you're very welcome. There's no schedule, no complicated things. We just speak things and talk about things we like.
No, indeed. So. Thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you,
You're
Guy.
a legend.
And yes, you're a legend, and soon everybody will become legends. Shoda, your camera is so bad that when you put this like this and the light comes in, it actually looks really cool. Like, try again. Yeah, this. You see,
It's called Avatar.
the glare. In VR headsets, not so good, but in this, it looks very nice.
Oh, look, that's disgusting.
Okay, and with that very high-tech comment, we'll finish this episode of Pixel Slaves. Thank you for being with us, and until the next time,